Before getting solar, there are some basic things you need to know, and I'm going to share what they are in this video so that you become an informed and knowledgeable homeowner in order to make the right decision. After you learn what they are, you'll be able to make an objective decision based on the factors that come into play. Let's start with your house. Is there any shade caused by huge trees or any other obstructions? Then there's roof space. Do you have any dormers, skylights, or vents that the panel has to be installed around? Ideally, you want like a nice flat roof with none of these things so you have more real estate to be able to install more panels. Then there's HOAs and local regulations. Some HOAs, believe it or not, don't allow you to install solar panels on your own house. Sometimes there's like a application process, or they'll just flat out deny it. So check with your HOA. The other is local regulations. Some towns don't allow you to install solar panels in front of the house for whatever reason. But check with them as well. If you can't install solar panels on top of the house, on your roof, there's also an option to install a ground mount or install panels on your garage. Now, the ground mount also falls into local regulations. Like I live in the state of New Jersey, and in New Jersey, your property has to be sitting on 3 acres or more in order for you to be able to do a ground mount. Also, garage. You may have enough space on your garage, but you'll have to pay for trench work to connect the solar system on the garage to your main electric panel. Next, we have direction and pitch of the roof. Sometimes these two factors will affect your production by as much as 30 to 40%. So if you live in the US, most of us live in the northern hemisphere of the equator. So ideally, we want the home to be facing south. East, west, and north-facing roofs are still fine as long as you have enough space on your roof to be able to install at least 7 to 8 panels, because this seems to be the least amount of panels that any solar company would be willing to install. Pitch or angle of the roof. In solar, we call this azimuth. These things are important because ultimately, it'll determine the cost of solar for you, whether you decide to purchase or go with a PPA, which stands for Power Purchase Agreement. With the PPA, you're not leasing the equipment, you're actually purchasing the power that the solar system is generating versus your utility company. So think of this as like switching providers. Now, here's 3 examples that I'm going to compare, so it gives you like a good understanding of like how these factors play a role. First, we have Greg's house. Greg's house faces north and south. It's an A-frame. Based on his usage, let's say he'll need to install 15 panels on his roof. Then we have Kate's house. Kate's house faces east and west and is also an A-frame. Let's say she uses the exact same amount of electricity as Greg. In her house, she'll need to install 17 panels to generate the same amount of electricity for the year. And lastly, we have Dylan's house. Dylan's house faces north and south, just like Greg's. He has dormers on the south side of his house, and he only has space on the north side of his house to install panels. And he needs to install 25 panels to produce the same amount of electricity as Greg and Kate, because the north side gets less sunlight. So what does this mean? Dylan's gonna pay for more panels, or Dylan can just sign up for the PPA and not have to pay for 25 panels. Even if it's like 50 panels, he doesn't have to pay for the panels. He can just lock into a lower and more predictable electric bill with the PPA. So these are the objective reasons. Your decision is always subjective. Why? Because despite the fact that Greg has like the perfect house for solar, he may not want to dish out tens of thousands of dollars for a solar system. He may want to just save money and get the predictability that solar has to offer, which gives him peace of mind in the long run. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below and I'll answer them. Also, if there's another subject matter that you'd like me to cover regarding solar, let me know and I'll do that too. For example, like some states offer great state incentives, and I'll break those down for you if that's something that you like to find out. Thank you and have a great day.